Hello and welcome once again. This is David. Thank you for your time and I appreciate you. Now, the topic for today is the atonement or the at-one-ment as a defense. Let's see what that means according to our course in miracles. We will start with first looking at doubt and fear. Now, the course says that miracles are natural, corrective, healing, and universal. Miracles are natural. They are not supernatural. Everyone says miracles are supernatural. They are not, according to the course. They are natural. Their purpose is to correct. A result, you could say, is healing, and they are universal. There is nothing they cannot do, but they cannot be performed in the spirit of doubt or fear. You see that? They don't have a limitation, but they cannot be performed in the spirit of doubt or fear. When you are afraid of anything, you are acknowledging its power to hurt you. Remember that where your heart is, there is your treasure also. So once you put your heart in fear, you've already put yourself as a victim, as a, how do you say that? As if you are the, you understand, a victim, yeah. Yet, it's completely out of line with reality, according to the course, that you are the perfect extension of the Creator. And there is nothing above you as such to hurt you. And number two, there is only one. There is no other thing out there that can hurt you. See? So these are the errors under which a miracle cannot be performed. And you can, it sounds logical, doesn't it? Because we've just said that you are the perfect extension of the Creator. There's only one. There's nothing else out there to hurt you, and so on. So already when you're in doubt and fear, you are already investing your heart in an illusion rather than investing it in reality. That is why you hear faith being touted as so important for miracle working. Okay? So anyways, the last sentence over there says, you believe in what you value. If you are afraid, you will inevitably value wrongly. Okay? If you are afraid, if you believe that you're separate and a victim, you'll inevitably, because you believe in what you value, you'll inevitably value incorrectly. You can and should deny any belief that error can hurt you. You should and you can deny any belief that the illusion can hurt you. There's no single belief that something in the illusion can hurt you that is worth it. None. There is no exceptions. Denial of error, a powerful defense. So the cause here is advocating for the denial of the error as a powerful defense. Let's see what it says. The peace of the Creator is totally incapable of being shaken by errors of any kind. It denies the ability of anything not of the Creator to affect you. The peace of the Creator is totally incapable of being shaken by errors of any kind. You want to read that sentence again? What it's saying is that there is no error that can disturb it. Yeah? Nothing. You can and should deny any belief that error can hurt you. This kind of denial is not a concealment. In other words, you're not avoiding the truth. You're not, you know what I mean? Like people, psychiatrists and, all these self-help groups and, groups like the, Alcoholics Anonymous, they all say that acceptance is the first step towards healing. What the course is saying is that, okay, that might be true, but when you deny an error, when you deny the illusion, it is not concealment. You're not going into denial in a negative sense, but it's actually positive because it is a correction. Your right mind actually depends on it. Denial of error is a strong defense of truth, but denial of truth results in miscreations, the projections of the ego. Okay? In the service of the right mind, the denial of error frees the mind and reestablishes the freedom of the will. When the will is really free, it cannot miscreate because it recognizes only truth. And how is the will made not free? Well, you lose your willpower when you start falling into, believing into the error, when you go into fear and doubt, and so on. This is the proper use of denial. It is not used to hide anything, but to correct error. It brings all error into the light, and since error and darkness are the same, it corrects error automatically. True denial is a powerful protective device. It's a very simple sentence. It's just saying, don't believe the error. Or if you do, just deny. It's literally encouraging you to go into denial when it comes to error. You can defend truth as well as error. You can defend both. It's up to you. It's a choice. The means are easier to understand after the value of the goal is firmly established. It is a question of what it is for. Everyone defends his treasure and will do so automatically. Everyone defends what he treasures. If you treasure something, you will defend it, and you will defend it automatically. The real question then becomes, what do you treasure? And how much do you treasure it? Okay? So in other words, the means are easier to understand after the value of the goal is firmly understood. So these questions are become important because of that. Once you have learned to consider these questions and to bring them into all your actions, you will have little difficulty in clarifying the means. The means are available whenever you ask. You can, however, save time if you do not prolong this step unduly. In other words, just do it right away all the time. The correct focus will shorten it immeasurably. You don't need to stick around in the mud, in other words. If you choose quick, decisively, you deny the error, you ask yourself, what are you treasuring here? And how much do you treasure it? For example, if you're fearing something, that's an indication that you've put your treasure in the fear, So this will automatically also tell you what are you really up to, What are you defending? Are you defending the error or are you defending the truth? Okay. If you find that you're defending the error, then you stop right away and you choose to defend the truth. It's just a choice, really, Now let's look at atonement or atonement. The atonement principle was in effect long before the atonement itself began. The principle was love, and the atonement was an act of love. The cause here is saying that love was there in existence way before the atonement or even the separation was necessary. The atonement was necessary or began, or even before the separation occurred. Remember, we are talking in terms of time, as if there was a day in the past where there was no separation and then there was separation. But in reality, I would like you to keep in mind that, and I hope I'm not confusing you now, but time, the idea of sequential time as in yesterday, today, tomorrow, is an aspect of the illusion. It does not exist like that in reality. Okay? But anyways, let's keep to this topic here. So the principle was love, and the atonement came about later, in quotes, as an act of love. Acts, action. Acts were not necessary before the separation because belief in space and time did not exist. You see, space and time relies on separation. Think about that. If there is no separation, what space and time is actually a ridiculous concept. The minute you believe that there is only one, but the minute you believe there is separation, then space and time makes sense. In fact, it is born of this belief, and therefore, before the separation, acts were not necessary. It was only after the separation that the atonement or the atonement and the conditions necessary for its fulfillment were planned. Then a defense so splendid was needed that it could not be misused, although it could be refused. Refusal could not, however, turn it into a weapon of attack, which is the inherent characteristics of other defenses. The atonement thus became the only defense that is not a two-edged sword. It can only heal. What the cause is saying is that if you consider every defense known to mankind, let's even say when you scream at somebody, or when you punch somebody, or when you or you shoot somebody or throw a nuclear bomb at them, those are all defenses that we have all come up with in this illusion, okay, that we call life here on earth, you know. But each of those defenses can be turned into an attack. It can be turned into a weapon of attack. However, the atonement can never be turned into an attack. It's the only one that has that purpose. It can only heal. You can refuse it, but you cannot turn it into a weapon of attack. The atonement was built into the space-time belief to set a limit on the need for the belief itself, and ultimately to make learning complete. In other words, without the atonement, the belief in separation would have been, could we say, eternal? Okay? Yet, since it is not real, it needs to go. You know, at some point, the atonement was built into the belief itself so that it can set a limit. So there can be at least a limit, a time when guaranteed everybody wakes up. And thus learning is complete. Or you could say remembering is complete. Remembering who you really are. The atonement is a final lesson. Learning itself, like the classrooms in which it occurs, is temporary. The ability to learn has no value when change is no longer necessary. The eternally creative have nothing to learn. In other words, you really have nothing to learn. This is more like a remembering. You know, people say we came here to learn lessons, but we didn't. We really came here to remember. And you can take that word remember and break it into two words. R-E. And then the second word would be member. Member, you know, like membership, a body. Remember, put together again. Remember who you are. Put together again who you really are. You can learn to improve your perceptions, and you can become a better and better learner. This will bring you into closer and closer accord or agreement with the sonship. Now that's the one. But the sonship itself is a perfect creation, and perfection is not a matter of degree. So we've seen that learning is a process whereby you become better and better and better. Yet, you were born perfect, and perfection has no degrees. There is no better or worse within perfection. There is only perfection. So only while there is a belief in differences is learning meaningful. Wow! The atonement is a device by which you can free yourself from the past as you go ahead. It undoes your past errors, thus making it unnecessary for you to keep retracing your steps without advancing to your return. Okay? The atonement literally wipes out your past errors. And so you don't have to keep going around in circles. You see the way, like, sometimes we just feel like we keep doing the same thing over and over again, making the same mistake. But the atonement erases that cycle, that so-called rebirth cycle or karmic cycle. Okay, so karma or rebirth is wiped out by the atonement. Now, in this sense, the atonement saves time, but like the miracle it serves, it does not abolish time. As long as there is a need for atonement, there is a need for time. But the atonement as a completed plan has a unique relationship to time. Until the atonement is complete, its various phases will proceed in time. Just like, for example, today you're taking this topic, tomorrow you're going to listen to another topic, the next day another topic, yesterday you listened to a different topic, and slowly you're going through the steps of the atonement in time. But the whole atonement stands at time's end. Now that's at the end of time. And by the way, it's not on a particular date. The end of time is where the whole atonement stands. At that point, the bridge of return has been built, and time and space ceases to exist. Now, this is not a date in time. There is no end of the world date as such. Well, not in the way that people conceive it, you know, like 2012, December 2012, the world's gonna end, that kind of thing. As we know now, we're in 2013, and it didn't end. It is this. It is not the way. It's not, the world doesn't explode and end. This is more symbolic. It's more your mind waking up. That's what it means. The end of time. Your mind waking up to the reality of what and who it really is. The atonement is a total commitment. You may still think that it is associated with a loss, a mistake all the separated sons of the Creator make in one way or another. Like, what this means is that a lot of us, our ego freaks out when they hear about the atonement, because they think, oh my God, the world's gonna end, I'm gonna lose, I'm gonna die. If I get the atonement, I'm not gonna, what's gonna happen? Am I just gonna disappear from the earth and lose all my loved ones? I'm gonna cease to exist. You can associate the atonement with loss. You can think you're losing something. Yeah? And this is a mistake all the separated, the people who believe in separation, this is the mistake all of us make in one way or another. We equate atonement with a loss. As long as we believe in separation, we are all going to make that mistake, because it does mean the end of ego. And the ego freaks out when he hears that. So it's normal. Accept it. It's cool. It doesn't make it's okay. It's fine. It happens to everybody. Yeah? The atonement is a total commitment. You cannot go half in. Okay. It is hard to believe a defense that cannot attack is the best defense. This is what is meant by the meek shall inherit the earth. They will literally take it over because of their strength. This is the toughest, coolest tool ever built, or you can say defense, the atonement, because it literally wakes you up from the illusion of separation. So all they're saying is that just because the atonement, doesn't come and take you by force and attack you and force you to believe and all that, that doesn't, we might think, oh, it's such a weak tool, but it's actually the most powerful tool out there. And that's why the ego is so afraid of it. A two-way defense is inherently weak, precisely because it has two edges. In other words, if you have a defense that can be turned into attack or a weapon, then it is inherently weak. And it can be turned against you very unexpectedly. This possibility cannot be controlled except by miracles. The miracle turns the defense of the atonement to your real protection. And as you become more and more secure, you assume your natural talent of protecting others, knowing yourself both as a brother and as a son of the Creator. Okay? That's such a powerful tool, don't you think? So we've gone to the end of this topic, and once again, I really appreciate your time and being here together with us on this journey. I encourage you to go to the discussion forum. It's really cool to share your ideas there. And so, in the next video, we'll look at the next topic. And I thank you so much. Thank you very much. Bye.